In 2021, we expanded our work into the area of environmental justice by setting up Ireland's first and only Centre for Environmental Justice. So we were coming from a social justice, equality and human rights background rather than an environmental one, because at CLM we see that climate breakdown raises not just environmental concerns, but social justice, human rights and equality concerns too. We're already 4 years into a critical decade and we're totally off track. So we need every organisation, every community and voluntary organisation, every social justice organisation, regardless of their background and whether they have experience in climate, to work in this space. But we also need our philanthropic community.
All Ireland Climate and Biodiversity Research Network was formed around 4 years ago when we came together as a group of researchers who understood that we really needed to work together across disciplines to tackle the climate and biodiversity crises together. The kinds of transitions that we're going to have to undertake as a society over the next decade, 2 to 3 decades, are going to be immense. Our landscapes are going to have to change in response to the climate crisis. We're going to need more renewable energy installations. We're going to need changes in the way that we farm. We're going to need changes in the way that we manage our land and we manage our water. We have a lot of the technical solutions, but we don't necessarily know how to put those in place to enable people to come along with us.
When it comes to the corporate philanthropy space, I think this is an area that will grow considerably. And here it'll be important for companies not just to talk about the positive impacts that they're making in communities, but to evidence it and to document it. And certainly our experience with Community Foundation Ireland is that that's what we get in return, a very professionally managed fund where you can agree upfront what it is you need for your reporting requirements and how they will be captured and presented back to you.
And we are certainly at Community Foundation Ireland seeing more families and individuals, more corporate partners, and also other foundations coming to us wanting to do work in the space of climate and nature. We are very proud that in terms of protecting plants and wildlife, we were the leaders. Now we have grown from that position, and in more recent years we have taken an increased focus on what we call ensuring sustainable futures as part of our equality mission. So what that means, it means with our donors coming and supporting the pioneering work like we're seeing at Trinity College Dublin, where groundbreaking research with a wide view that is focused beyond the south, but an island-wide view of what needs to be done.
My instinct previously would have been, what difference can we really make? And where can we make difference? And our process with the Community Foundation was really to learn about how nonprofits report their work, about how they report the impact that they can really have. And it can be kind of a gray area sometimes. Like, you want real results for the money that you're contributing. You want to have real impact on people. But oftentimes in philanthropy, it's not as direct as you might like it. And I think as we started to look into the climate and what were things that we could do around that, what we really felt we saw was a challenge that is highly quantified, that is an inevitable challenge. That is a challenge that only gets more difficult and more expensive the longer that we wait. I think we all have a responsibility to contribute to the climate, whether we are next-gen philanthropists or people who've been doing this for 30, 40, 50 years. I actually think it's going to fall on NGOs to be a guiding light, to help show different policies and projects that can have real impact. And I think this convening is like a really good example of how they are changing the groundswell of interest around climate change philanthropy in Ireland.
I think that climate philanthropy is incredibly important for demonstrating that society in general wants to support these changes and wants to find a way to do it in a just and fair way. We need to employ philanthropy to look at these crises in a joined up way and across disciplines. So some of our research funding mechanisms are boundaried by those disciplines, whereas philanthropy can actually take a broader view and a more holistic view and say, okay, if we get engineers, physicists, biologists and ecologists and social scientists and political scientists all in a room together, what kinds of solutions can we come up with that we couldn't do apart?
Community law mediation would not have been able to set up the Centre for Environmental Justice without climate philanthropy. It has allowed us to hire expert staff in what is a fast-changing and technical area. It covers operational costs, it allows us to implement projects, but it also allows us to have a degree of independence to our work, which is so critical when you're seeking to hold government to account on their own laws and policies.
Climate change philanthropy is such an intractable challenge. And it's something that we're going to be dealing with for generations and generations across the globe. This has caught up to where this is a, human survival challenge.